Hello, everyone. We're starting with the third part of the course. This has to do with social emotional development. You're going to notice that most of the chapters are pretty short. They're one or two sections for the lecture. We're going to begin with Chapter 10, Emotional Development. This has two sections. First, I want to talk a little bit about drugs, and I'm going to share some popular song lyrics with you. One pill makes you larger, and one pill makes you small. The ones that mother gives you don't do anything at all. What a drag it is getting old. Kids are different today. I hear every mother say, Mother needs something today to calm her down. And though she's not really ill, there's a little yellow pill. She goes running for the shelter of a mother's little helper, and it helps her on her way, gets her through her busy day. Folks, this is referencing the drug Valium. Valium was very, very big in the 50s. Women were experiencing a great deal of dissatisfaction with how things were going for them, and they would complain to their doctors. The typical advice they would get from their male physicians was for them to have another baby, and they would get a prescription for Valium. I ain't happy. I'm feeling glad. I got sunshine in a bag. I'm useless, but not for long. The future is coming on. It's coming on. It's coming on. I'm not the one who's so far away when I feel the snake bite enter my veins. Never did I want to be here again, and I don't remember why I came. Why I'm so far away. No more meaning in my life. No more reason to stay. Freezing, feeling, demons, dreaming. Breathe in, breathe in. I'm coming back again. Okay, generally this song's interpreted as referring to heroin. This one is pretty obvious what it's referring to. There's a shadow just behind me, shrouding every step I take, making every promise empty, pointing every finger at me. I am just a worthless liar. I am just an imbecile. I will only complicate you trust in me and fall as well. Why can't we not be sober? I just want to start this over. Why can't we drink forever? I just want to start this over. This next one's a fun song that came out of the 70s. You want some whiskey in your water? Some sugar in your tea? What's all these crazy questions you asking me? That cigarette you're smoking about scares me half to death. Open up the window, sucker, let me catch my breath. The radio is blasting. Someone's knocking at the door. I'm looking at my girlfriend. She's passed out on the floor. I've seen so many things I ain't never seen before. Don't know what it is. I don't want to see no more. Mama told me not to come. Mama told me not to come. That ain't the way to have fun, son. That ain't the way to have fun. It's a great Randy Newman song. I want a new drug. One that won't make me sick. One that won't make me crash my car or make me feel 3 feet thick. I want a new drug. One that won't hurt my head. One that won't make my mouth too dry or make my eyes too red. I want a new drug. One that won't spill. One that don't cost too much or come in a pill. I want a new drug. One that won't go away. One that won't keep me up all night. One that won't make me sleep all day. I want a new drug. One with no doubt. One that won't make me talk too much or make my face break out. I want a new drug. One that does what it should. One that won't make me feel too bad. And one that won't make me feel too good. So it's very songs referring to drug and alcohol consumption. I do want to talk a little bit about drugs and medication coming from my perspective. I worked with a lot of families, teachers, other staff for a number of years. And one thing I began to realize is that, yes, there are some problems that medication will fix, and There are those problems, such as a child's response to a parent's divorce, that medication will not fix. It's important that we learn to tell the difference. Hear from people that they didn't want to take a drug because there might be side effects. That can often be a legitimate concern, but realize that virtually all drugs have side effects. If you're looking for a drug without side effects, you need to go back to Kansas. We have nothing like that here. Folks, there is no such thing as a safe drug. Okay, you have to be your own best advocate here. In fact, there's no such thing as a safe substance. What is safe can vary from person to person. We probably all know someone with a peanut allergy, although most of us can wallow in peanuts and peanut shells and peanut oil with no problems. There are those people who will go into anaphylactic shock, quit breathing, and die when exposed to peanuts. For a moment, I want you to consider what a poison is. I was taught a poison is too much. When I first started teaching this course, I would share that it's possible to take a very benign substance like water, and it is possible to drink so much water, too much, that it can kill you. This type of thing is usually done as part of a knucklehead contest. Okay. What happens is your body cannot process all the water. Cells begin to swell and burst. I think the first couple of times out, I had students that didn't believe this, but since this time, there have been a number of these cases out there. Now, I can tell you that we do know that sometimes the negative side effects of a drug can outweigh any positive effects of a drug. I will tell you that drug companies are very interested in these side effects. Now, what can happen sometimes is the side effects are so uncomfortable that you quit taking their drug. We saw this especially with that first generation of blood pressure medications. People were feeling fine walking around with their dangerously high blood pressure. They began taking the drug, and now their blood pressure looks good, but they feel really awful. Occasionally, something else can happen. Let me share two interesting events that were concerning drug side effects. The first concerns Wellbutrin. Wellbutrin is a norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor. It's given as a mood stabilizer. Well, there were people who were on this drug reporting back to their physicians that they had been able to quit smoking while they were on this drug, despite having failed previous attempts to do so. Physicians would hear this from several of their patients. They shared it with their drug reps, who, after hearing it from several physicians, shared it with their supervisors. Now, this kind of makes sense. Norepinephrine is the neurotransmitter that nicotine impacts on, and Wellbutrin stabilizes your norepinephrine levels. The drug company was elated. As I said, they had a drug that could help you quit smoking. They did the studies, and ta-da! A medication that can help a person quit smoking, and a new source of revenue for the company. Now, the second concerns two researchers who had a drug that was a vasodilator on paper. Vasodilators are typically given for high blood pressure. The researchers did a double-blind study. Now, in case you don't know, in order to get approval for a drug, the FDA requires that you demonstrate that your drug is more effective than asking the patient to drink a glass of water. All right, it doesn't have to be a whole lot more effective, but it does have to be more effective. The proof for this is called a double-blind study. Okay? In this type of study, neither the doctor nor the patient know who's getting the drug or the placebo. Now, with blood pressure, it's pretty easy to get your results, and you can know if your medication is more effective than the placebo. Well, after about 2 years or so of study, the results were not promising. So, the researchers who believed in their drug decided to try to use this vasodilator to treat angina pain. Angina pain is a disorder that typically affects older men. They had to rely on ratings to judge the effectiveness this time around. So another 2 years, and again, the results are not promising. But this group of older men reported a very interesting side effect. The drug was indeed a vasodilator, but it tended to impact on just a single area of the male anatomy. Right. Another round of double-blind testing, and now we have the most successful, the most widely distributed drug ever is approved. In case you haven't been following, that drug is Viagra. Now, many drugs, especially psychotropic medications, get a lot of bad press. Where does it come from? Well, primarily there's one group that's dedicated to eliminating medications and mental health workers. This group is interesting, if not quite a bit scary. They market themselves as a religious group, but unlike most religions, if you show an interest in them, they don't want you to tell anyone. Okay, by the way, that's a flag for a cult. Now, their explanation of mental health problems is this. Tens of thousands of years ago, this alien culture came to Earth, and when they had problems, their leader took his people up and away, and then he dropped atomic bombs into live volcanoes, which precipitated a nuclear winter, and that killed off all the dinosaurs. The leader also succeeded in blowing up his enemies. However, the essence of these evil aliens still exists, and they can get into your head and overlay your thoughts with their evil alien thoughts. Now, only someone in this religious group can cast out these evil alien thoughts, which will cure your mental illness. Okay, I'm not making this up. If you go into treatment, you have to sign a waiver that you or your family, well, they won't sue if you die during treatment, and people have. Now, a lot of people know now that I'm talking about Scientology. Of course, you're going to have to make your own decisions. For myself, if I'm going to seek out advice on important medical concerns, I'm not going to rely on members of the entertainment industry, and I'm certainly not going to rely on anything that I might have read on the internet. Okay, folks, this is the end of our Section 1 for Chapter 10. Next, on Section 2, we're going to be talking about emotion, temperament, and DSM-5.